Hi everyone, it's Mr. Orm again. So today we're going to be multiplying decimals by decimals. As you guys can see here, we have 2/10 times 3/10 and 5/10 times 64 hundredths. So we're moving away from multiplying a decimal by a whole number. Now we're going to be doing decimal times a decimal. And it doesn't really change the process. You can still use standard algorithm. You can still use the grids. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. So when we had 2 times 3/10, which was our homework problem yesterday, right? That's two full groups of 3/10. So, right, we had, just imagine we had tenths, we have 3, and then another group of 3/10. Right, and that equals 6/10. Well, when you're doing a decimal by a decimal, right, we have 2/10 of 3/10. So we don't have a full group of 3/10, right? We would have like a very small portion of 3/10. So I'm going to use standard algorithm. What I like to do is I just like to imagine that the decimal doesn't exist and that we have whole numbers. So I have 3 times 2, and then I have 6. And now I'm going to bring that decimal back into the equation. I always look at my original expression, and if I had one number after the decimal here and another one here, that means that I'm going to need 2 numbers after my decimal and my answer. So I would go start from here, 1, 2. Add a 0, and our answer here would be 6 hundredths. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one. I have 5/10 or 1/2 of 64 hundredths. If you have half of anything, you're going to have half of it, right? So half of 64 hundredths is 32 hundredths. I'm going to double check my work. If I were to make this whole numbers, right, 5 times 64, and then we can add the decimals later, I would put it like this. And I would have 5 times 4, I know is 20. Okay, regroup my 2. I know that 5 times 6 is 30. And then add 2 more, I know that's 32. Then I'm going to look at my original problem. I had 2 numbers after the decimal here and another number after the decimal here. So that means in my answer, I should have 3 numbers after my decimal. So you're going to always start here on the right and go 1, 2, 3. So my decimal should be in front of our 3, which is why our answer here is 32 hundredths. We can get rid of this 0 because it's not really necessary. Or you can keep it. It doesn't matter, right? If you had 32 hundredths, that's the same as 320 thousandths, because the 0, even though it isn't there, it still exists. So our answer is still going to be just 32 hundredths. Either one would have been correct. Let's go ahead and do one more. Let's say I have 4/10 of a graham cracker. So if I were to draw my hundreds chart, my grid, and I'm going to call this a graham cracker. I'm going to have 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's say I broke it up and I only had 4 pieces of my graham cracker. So that means I have 4/10 or 40%. And I wanted to know what maybe 2/10, for example, 2/10 of 4/10 is. I'm going to break it up even further. So I'm going to just draw another 10 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So what I'm going to do is I have 4 tenths in total, but I'm only going to use or have 2 tenths of that. So if I look, if I have 4 tenths in total and 2 tenths of 4 tenths, I'm going to only look at these pieces right here. And when I look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces in total. If I have 8 pieces out of 100, I'm going to say I have 8 hundredths. If I wanted to double check my work and verify, I could, like I did here, I can make these two numbers whole numbers. So 4 times 2, that's 8. And if I look back at my original problem, I have 2 numbers after my decimal point. So that means when I'm looking at my answer, the decimal there should be 2 numbers after my decimal point. So we have 1, 2. And I'm going to add a 0 here because I can't leave that blank. And I'm going to add another 0 here. So it looks like I did my work properly. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Please remember that we have a test on Friday, so come to school every single day this week. It's super, super important. Even one day gone or missing is really bad. So have a great one.